Don't do this. Hey, the bald guy has his hand up, man. The quieter you can do that and manage your team, captains, because I suggest you get a Captain America shirt. If you believe that every team has different strengths and weaknesses, and whoever is the best captain of that group that week gets to have that shirt. And it's just a one-time investment of Captain America, $6 or $7. SpongeBob, and what was the T one? Transformers. Who's improved the most? Who's my Captain America? Who's my best captain this week? Who's setting the best example that his team is staying on task and on the ball? Speaking of on the ball, comma, capital, I gave one of you a bouncy ball that lights up and has glitter, period. Capital, who is that person in this room, question mark? Capital Angela, comma, could you please stand up, question mark? I gave her a ball because she was on the ball during the break, actually working when? During her what? Oh, teacher's pet. She didn't have to do that. If you don't mind, Angela, tell them, let me borrow the ball for a second. It lights up. Do you think that that's going to motivate some kids?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that's going to motivate some kids? Question mark. Well, comma. Yes, I think it's going to work well, exclamation. Why do you think it's going to work? Question mark. A question mark is somebody's ear where they're asking you something and they're waiting for a response. So, if you can use something kinesthetic like a ball to think about punctuation, up here it has a dot. A question mark has a dot. An exclamation has a dot. It's just that you bounce them in different places, comma, colon, semicolon. I'm bouncing it where? On the table. I'm not stopping the sentence, I'm just slowing it down. So what color means slow down?
Red.
What color means stop?
Yellow.
I also can toss up there. Apostrophe. And the kid would say, sir, I thought that was a comma up there. No, that's why it's called an up apostrophe. It's up there. The commas come on down. Mr. McDonald, why do they call it a colon? I don't know, but a colon's in the middle of your body, just like a colon's in the middle of your sentence. That's why God put a colon there for middle school and high school teachers to say, hey, this is a really awesome training, semicolon. He's got some really great strategies. Period. Angela, if you catch this ball, defend your claws, comma, I will give you $1,000 in cash. I don't want to give her $1,000. All right, Angela, tell them why I gave you the ball as a tool, not a toy.
Because if you go open your Facebook and go search under Bill McDonald and add him, you can get some tickets too.
I can't teach you in one day what many teachers have learned the last 7 years as my friends. And so people have messaged me in May, June, July, August. They said, Mr. Mino, I've never met you, but my scores increased 30% because of you and the strategies that you share for free on Facebook. So she just typed Bill McDonald with M-A-C, and she was able to find my writing group. You can also find my horn. If you type on Facebook, if you can write this in your notes, horns to halos. If your main problem is not content or curriculum, but it's learning how to manage or motivate kids more, I gave you basically the skeleton inside this booklet, and we'll be building on that skeleton throughout the year together. As you share, Mr. McDonald, there's this problem I'm having. I will use my Horns to Halo book and teach a concept or a skill that might help you make a difference. And again, I don't believe I have the way, because I don't think anybody should believe that, but it could be a way. Does that make sense? If you teach math, raise your hand. Just write this word, these words in your notes, come. How do you spell that, come? C-O-M-E, on, sense, S-E-N-S-E, math. Come on, sense math. I'm a math minor, so if you teach 7th grade or less, I can help you with any math that you might be having to teach. If you teach 8th grade or higher, I can help you, but I don't believe in the calculator. You're allowed to use a calculator in 8th grade and higher, and what I've been finding out as a math teacher, if you use too much calculator now and don't know how to do anything on a piece of paper, you get caca later. And that's just me being honest. I don't like doing trainings with 8th grade or higher because their dependence on the calculator is so strong they can't get away. Some people, you see them going to a restaurant together. They're all at the same table, and they're talking to everyone except each other on one device, on their phone. That doesn't make sense. That's called a social gap. Why do your kids struggle socially? It's because they don't know how to interact with people who are right there in front of them. Because they've been allowed to be on their video game or on their phone so long, they forgot how to connect with people in the real world. They're too busy watching people kill people, fake people in their fake world, thinking that it's okay to kill people in their real world. No offense if you like video games, but sometimes it hardens your heart with all the violence that you're going to see. I hate listening to my son having people talk about things on his video games because half of the people who are commentating are using vulgar vocabulary. Sharice, does Israel say a lot of bad words?
No.
Somehow, he was not like me. I became a mini-me of my father. Every other word was a cuss word. I didn't even realize until I went to my reunion. They said, Billy, do you know that half the words that came out of your mouth was foul vocabulary? I'm like, really? Yeah, but then Ms. Snyder invested in your life. So there was somebody else that said something to me during the break, all right? My twin. Go ahead and share. You want to focus on the positive first or the negative?
Well, first I gotta tell them I'm Jose Rodriguez. I'm the new Spanish teacher.
Stop for a second. He is the one they talk to in every game at the beginning. Jose.
That's my anthem.
And he stands up and says, yeah, I'm good, thanks. So he's the guy they're talking about. Jose, go ahead and introduce yourself again. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Jose Rodriguez, the new Spanish teacher. He didn't have to give me $10 or $20. I was just noticing after 30 some years of teaching or being involved in teaching, this is like the best in-service or, a workshop that I've attended. It's interesting, it's engaging, and it's fun. And that's the way it should be in class. Because then you got them. I noticed something that I didn't even want to say anything. But
Hold on, everybody go
I
like
don't
this,
know if
please.
it's OCD.
Everybody say, wah, wah, wah. But let me ask you, did he focus on the positive first or the negative? Because some of your kids need to hear something. But make sure you speak the truth in love. Say the positive first, then the negative, even though negative comes before positive in the alphabet. In this case, don't follow the alphabet. Follow your heart and share something positive so his heart will be open and OP. If you're going to give me something negative, I won't have an open heart to hear the positive, unless you flip it, NOP. Give me the positive, then I'll be open to hear the negative, working backwards, okay?
I've coached for many years, and to me, that's the sandwich method. You're doing the good, you're playing really hard, I love that effort. However, you missed out the blockout. So let's make sure we get the blockout in, but continue playing hard and physical. I love it. Go.
Okay, go ahead and physically do what you did first.
I asked him if he has ever read The Emperor's New Clothes. And he says, yes. And I said, well, the little boy tells the truth. I said, I'm OCD, so I have to fix your collar. She says, thank you, Sharif was doing something, and I thought she took care of that.
Sir,
And then,
hold on.
And then I said,
Hold on. The fact that you remember her name, the fact that somebody remembers your name on the first day of school or the first week of school, it means that you're investing, you're listening. Half the time you don't listen, you hear, but you're not listening. When an adult can repeat your name after hearing it one time, she's not even the presenter. But the fact that he knows my daughter, sir, I have you on a pedestal now, that you know my daughter's name.
I know all my students' name by the second day.
We worship and adore you. Just kidding.
Well, I'm gonna
tell him the other one now.
Well,
I'm a very holy person. How many can tell I'm a person of faith? And I believe in holiness, which will lead you to what he's going to share now.
Well, he told me, yeah, that's very honest. I said, well, can I tell you the truth? I said, every time you say, you know, this, I said, you have a hole on it. I rather know. My kids, when they tell me, I tell them I appreciate it. Hey, sir, thank you. You know, so it's happened to me too. Or, sir, you got a pepper thing there.
And my student here, he's already sucking up to the teacher. But I read a story one time where there was poison in there, so I don't know whether to take, I don't know him well enough yet to take his apple. He's like, sir, you were making fun of my shirt earlier. I'm gonna get you back. So, in the 70s, if you had clothes with holes, you were poor. In 2022, if you have clothes with holes, you're rich. So the less material you have, I just wanted to put my holes in a place where they were obvious. And I also believe in holiness. And while I'm on the topic, the reason that some of your kids are not whole with a W is because someone or something has come along to poke holes in their character, in who they are, who they want to be. And you could be the best teacher in this room. And there's 3 bowls here. Your administrator, your district data people, their goal is to have you take your kids to the level, and it's a word from the devil, rigor. You ever heard that word before?
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I do want to perform well in a classroom setting, but if I can get you to perform well in life, I'm just as much a success as the teacher who gets your score 2 approaches or meets your master's, because, hey, I took that kid and he had the most growth, so he's going to get just as big of a prize as a kid who wins a trophy for getting masters. And so what happens sometimes, guys, is in our quest to get to rigor, and we pour all of that content and curriculum into them, because it's not relevant to them, a lot of times materials out there that are so boring. They don't have any emotional and mental connection to it. You haven't taken the time to build in them the character that requires endurance and stamina to make it through something that you're trying to get them to teach. So let's say this together, if you don't mind writing it. These are in alphabetical order. Character, content, curriculum. In my personal humble opinion, building character should take precedence over overflowing their brains with content and curriculum. Let's write 3 more. Relationships before relevance and rigor. I want you to notice on the C words, are they in alphabetical order, yes or no? Yes. So teach that way. How can I build a little character today? Character is sometimes a key word. I'm not sure why, ladies, but when I look at you, when I see you, I think joy. And Angela, I don't know if it's mainly you, but I didn't mean that the way it came out. Angela, this is a giving key that says joy. And it cost me $5 in Progreso, Mexico. And I want to ask you a question. How many of you know an adult or a child who has lost his joy or her joy for one reason or another? Be honest and raise your hand. So your job, Angela, will be to keep the key, the giving key, that says joy, because you're so full of it. That sounds bad, but if she sees someone who has lost his or her joy, she's going to present this key to that child or that adult and say, you know what, I've just noticed something. There's a hole. Something is causing you to lose a little bit of who you are. And you're going to give this joy key until that person has joy or until they see someone who needs joy more than they do. Does that sound like a good deal? Okay. So Angela, you and your team have brought joy to me today. You guys have laughed more in the first 3 hours than I've laughed in the last 3 months. So I give this to you. Let's give her a hand. How many from the table love Angela? You can lie and Alphabetical order, does relationships become before relevance and rigor?
Yes.
Well, that's why we're having trouble. If all we're focusing on is relevance and rigor, content and curriculum, we're not starting from the foundation that's important, because this first bowl is like many of your kids. It's full of gaps and holes that are going to prevent you from getting to content and curriculum, relevance and rigor. And you could be the most amazing teacher in the entire planet, but unless you start filling some of those gaps, your kids will not get to where you're trying to take them. So I want you to go to the front of the binder for a